It's not happening.
I'm relieved to hear that you've been to some far places. It's hard to carry on when you feel all alone. Now I've swung back down again. It's worse than it was before. If I hadn't seen such...
And it's Thierry Henry. And Henry is magnificent. It's absolutely magnificent. And when you need a goal, you need Thierry Henry. Something changed pace through the centre. It's Bergkamp. That's magnificent.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, here we go. Let's talk Arsenal. Kevin said, once again, come on. Gracie-Mae, let's talk Arsenal.
What's going on?
Come on. Feedback? Oh, it's gone. Gracie-Mae, love to see you again. And our first time on our channel, special guest, the awesome Diesel and Warren. And I've got to say thank you, a special thank you to Diesel and Warren, because when I invited Diesel on the other night, I totally forgot they were doing their channel on the paranormal sci-fi, which is great stuff to watch. I love it. It's brilliant. And so thank you guys for putting it back 24 hours to come on here. And we're going to get into this. We're going to talk all about Arsenal. We're going to talk about the signings, recent performance, and what are Arsenal going to do next season. So, first question I'm going to put out there. I mean, I just don't get this one, guys. Friendly game away at Ipswich, and we have a certain Hector Bellerin. Sorry, Bellerin. Beg your pardon. He was playing in that game, and he was given the captain's armband. Now, I just don't get this. I mean, the guy has said he wants to go back to Real Betis. What? You know, I just don't understand it, man. I don't get it. I'm going to throw this question, first of all, to Diesel, as he's our guest, first time on the show. Diesel, what do you think, man?
Well, firstly, I've just got to say, Jez, much appreciated for inviting me on. I've got to say that. And I haven't seen Kenny in ages, so it's nice to catch up with him. Nice to see Gracie and Warren. Well, we're like twins, me and him. Danny and Arnie. So, but yeah, look, further to your question. Listen, I don't tweet often, Jez, but when I found out about the Bellerin and the captaincy, I just had to have a rant on Twitter about it. And it's getting to a point where certain decisions are made at this club, and it doesn't shock me anymore. And I think when you get to that level, when you get to that mindset, that's worrying for me. Giving the captaincy to a player who is openly, and it's not just me saying it, you saying it, you know, Kenny, Gracie, Warren, this player has openly come out and said, I do not want to be here. I want to, was it Seville? Was that where he was at? Or Real Betis, I think, wasn't it? He wants to go back there. So for me, as a manager, you'd look at that and think, well, I can't play you, let alone give you the captaincy. I cannot play you. And yet not only does he play, he gets the captaincy as well. And for me, it's farcical, it's laughable. And it just, do you know what? It just emphasizes the mess that we've got here. It doesn't surprise me. It should shock me, but it doesn't. And again, it's just another example of why I just want this manager out, because I don't think any other manager would have done that. We all know they're close and they've got this personal bond. I think they used to live together when I think Arteta first come to or whatever. But you have to put that aside. This is a player who doesn't want to be here. And it just, things like this just keep on happening at this club. It's an absolute joke. And yeah, how Bellerin is still here shocks me anyway. When you think of that interview he did about Sanchez wanting to win, too much. That was the day for me. My personal opinion, he should have been removed from the club, and to think he's still here, that speaks volumes for me. So,
yeah. Warren, what's your view, my friend?
I would have liked to seen him sacked after what he said at the Oxford Union about Sanchez not wanting to win.
Yeah.
I just thought it was absolutely disgusting. How can you, as professional sportsmen, not want to win? My best mate is a coach for athletics. He was former England international athletics runner, and he's now coaching the local athletics team. One of his prodigies won the English schools 100 metres, right, at the weekend. And I can just imagine what he would say if one of his people turned around to him and said, yeah, I'm not really that bothered about winning. He'd go ballistic and they'd never, ever represent the club or whatever ever again. And it's the same. You can't come out and say stuff like that. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's a disgrace, and it's dishonouring all the great captains that we've had in the past by giving him the armband when he's come out and said stuff like that. And also added to what to it is the fact what Diesel said about how he doesn't want to be here. What are we doing giving him a captain's armband to a bloke who doesn't want to be at the club? I just don't understand it. And I don't understand why Betis want him, to be quite honest.
Well, they do.
I don't get it, because I wouldn't want a player in the team who's openly come out and said that he doesn't, he finds Alexis Sanchez too intense because he wants to win too much. I just find it crazy. That's basically what I think. I don't think he should have had it. Been given the captaincy, I don't think he should be at the club. Like I said at the beginning, I think he should have been sacked when he opened his mouth in the Oxford Union and said that stuff about Sanchez. I think it was out of order.
Gracie, what's your view on this? I mean, as a younger member of our chat, how do you see it? I mean,
I see it as a player who's been here for quite a long time and doesn't want to be here anymore, and we're just handing all these things to him like we do with the bad players at our club, the deadwood that probably still shouldn't be there, like Xhaka, and we just hand them these things to force them to stay, probably even though they don't want to. They openly public humiliate the club constantly, but we still go, oh, do you know what, let's go play, go be captain. I'm not too annoyed about it because it's a friendly at the end of the day. Hopefully Betis will go, you know what, here's however much, these are your wages, and he'll go. But I just, the logic's not there for just why is he needed? Why does he need to be captain? For me, I haven't seen it, so I don't know who was playing. Was he the only experienced player for the friendly? What's that, the whole situation, looking at it on a whole? But what's the point? If he doesn't want to be here, he's not going to want to play the whole season or part of the season or even do the pre-season. He might as well go back to Spain. So for me, it's just a waste of time, and you could be developing, our next club captain and putting them in the situations of friendlies. You could be preparing them for that and going into... That's what pre-season's about. Pre-season's the preparation, not just physical football, but mentality, the team chemistry as well. It's all about, all of that comes in the pre-season package. So to have a player that everyone knows he doesn't want to be there, but still has to be there, is just setting kind of a bad tone for the start of the season.
I totally agree on that one. Absolutely. What is the point of playing somebody that doesn't want to be here and giving them captaincy? I'm just going to read this super chat out. Carl Rossi, you're a top fella, man. And a panel of 5 to drive the expectations from the fans of this club to the roof. Salute you 5 and welcome to Diesel all day from your first appearance, mate. All day long. Carl, thank you very much, my friend. Kenny, voice of reason. What's your view, man?
There's only one person who's ever the voice of reason, and we miss him every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Miss him every day. You know what I mean? But in terms of like the Bellerin situation, it's just we've seen this a lot of times with players who don't want to be here anymore. The common denominator and the massive problem we have is that we pay very, very generous salaries to our players, and because as Diego says, if because Bellerin's in a high salary, even though he wants to leave the football club, the fact is that Betis can't afford the transfer fee because because of the fact that Bellerin's been here a long, long time, and he's still got a contract with us. Arsenal will probably want a lot of money. He hasn't really caused much havoc. He hasn't fallen out of a manager like Aubameyang did, where it's a case of just get him out of here. A manager thought he was poisonous. It's just that he just wants to leave and he wants to, get first team football so he can, see if he can get in the squad for Spain. But in terms of like Bellerin getting the captaincy, I like to think it's because a lot of our players who are on international duty, after the season finished, with the sort of like League of Nations, they weren't around, so they given the lad the captaincy. But I think there was loads of candidates we could have given that captaincy. I agree with all the panel. The guy doesn't want to be here. The club, but the situation is with all our players who don't want to be here, getting first team football elsewhere, it's always financial. We've had to pay these guys to leave the club because the fact is that, they say they want to, want to leave, but they ain't going to leave for free. I mean, are they pork chops? They're going to want, salaries paid up, which we're not going to do, or they're going to want, fees to be met. So that's why they hang around. People like Almunia hung around, Abue hung around. I'm sure other players are going to be hanging around as well. Maitland-Niles, although I rate him really highly, he's not going to go unless the valuation's met or we give him what we're owed in terms of paying his contract situation, and he's not going to go to another club until the personal terms are similar to what he's getting with us. And I think that's the big situation with Arsenal players, especially unwanted players. The players who we want to keep and other clubs actually want, we'll get big money for. But players like Hector and all the also ranks, they're hard to shift because they're on really, really good contracts here. Good contracts. Kids are settled. They've been here for such a long time, undeservedly, when it comes to Hector and all the other players. But they're Londoners, so it's something going to be something really big. Big incentive to leave the club.
Top, absolutely, totally agree. Let's answer Chrissy B. Imateb. I saw you on the Sunday afternoon, mate, in the Mummy Returns, and but that film. But guys, support Jez on the channel. I only use that channel would post more on a regular basis. Jez, maybe get Kenny or Gracie to cover you. Yeah, all day long. If you can't always make the shows, there will be lots more now, guys, because as of yesterday, I have officially retired. So that is my working career done. So I've got
go on, Jez.
Yeah, I've got.
Well, congratulations, mate.
Yeah, love it. So the wife and I are going to be able to do a lot more little weekends away and shit like that. But I'm going to do lots more content. And once the season kicks in, I'm going to be doing loads of crap. So can't wait. And it's all thanks to you guys for your support. You guys coming on here and doing all this. It's amazing. I love it. I absolutely bloody love it. But I'm going to move on. Okay. Gabriel Jesus made his debut in a friendly debut against Nuremberg. I didn't pay to watch the game. I'm sorry, I'm not one of these people who will do that. Personally, I think Arsenal Football Club could have aired that for free, given the financial climate we're all currently in, with people struggling to buy food, with the price of fuel, people struggling to get to work, blah, blah, blah. I've only seen highlights, so I'm not really qualified to comment, but I'll say, he looked good to me, guys, and I'm happy to see him here. So, Kenny, I'll come back to you. What do you think, man?
Look, there's no doubt that, if you look at the archetype player we need, you always want work rate, because at times we thought that Pierre didn't give us the work rate. And one thing about Jesus, he will give us work rate. He would run those channels. He's good. He'll be good on the left as well as the right, and be industrious in the box. And a game like that where defending weren't the greatest, he's going to be a good player with us. But long term, you look at his goal record. You want more goals for him this season, but you want support alongside him. You want someone to play off. So in terms of what we got, I can see why people are happy. I'm happy as well with him, but I'll be a lot happier if he had like a target man next to him. People like someone like an Ivan Toney, or he can play the split striker, because I think what we've been crying out for a long, long time, even when Aubameyang was here, it was the lack of goal scorer. Because last season, I'm not talking last season, obviously he got removed from the channel. Sorry, removed from the club, and then that's YouTube speak. But the season before that, when we finished 8th and only got to the semi-finals of the Europa League, his goal return weren't the best as well. So that's probably what we've been missing. So all the other aspects of his game, very, very happy with, no doubt about that. But what I really, really need is someone who can get 20 goals a season. Is he that man? I hope he is. I really hope he is. If we can get some creativity around him, but obviously we're going to come to this. But the thing that's going to prevent him, in my opinion, from excelling at his football clubs is if we don't sort out our midfield, because everyone loves the sort of like the Princess Di position, which is I call the glamorous position, which is the forwards, and obviously everyone likes a Tony Adams type defender, but you can't win football matches without a strong midfield, and because the score. If you don't have a strong midfield, you bypass the midfield, hitting the ball long, like we did when Ian Wright was on the side, and then it affects. You don't win. You don't get into the top fours. You don't win. Leagues without a good midfield. So if the midfield's to my liking, then I can't see why this guy wouldn't excel for us. But the midfield is an issue where I think it's going to hamper him, because at least the City had a good midfield. When he did get games, he had superb midfielders who can create chances and make runs off him, and service was always the best. We got to give him that platform here.
Well, we're going to come on to that, Kenny. GT Playboy, thank you, my friend. Thank you for your super chat. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Gracie, what do you believe that Jesus is going to bring to the party at Arsenal?
I hope he does bring a party, because it's definitely something we need over our new number 14, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's going to be a very creative player, and he by the looks of what I've seen from him over time, he gets in that space. He'll make a small pass, but then he'll keep running into the box and try and look for different options to be able to, open the play a bit. I do feel like he's going to provide goals, and I'll tell you why. Because at City, I don't think he got a proper, there's so many players at City that will outshine Jesus, right? But at Arsenal, he could be the main man if he wanted to be, quite easily, and outshine everyone else and probably play most games. And, just score goals. I do feel like he will be scoring goals for us. But like Kenny said, you need someone alongside him. You need the whole squad still needs, defensively in the midfield. It still needs something to have the foundations to be able to provide creativity. But from what I saw in the highlights, is very much of what we have been missing. Is when you looked at Arsenal at the end of last season, you look at Nketiah in the box, and you're thinking, it's like nobody's there. Like, all these passes and crosses, they're coming in, but it's like there's an invisible person there, and there's no goals are coming for it. What I saw is opposite of that in the highlights. I saw someone there, someone trying to make a play. And I feel like he offers experience into a team that, well, does pretty much lack experience because of the youth we have in it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really, I'll be honest, I'm positive. I'm actually pumped up about it. Diesel, you always give great, balanced opinion. What's your view, my friend?
Stop it, Jez. Stop it. You're making me blush. Now, do you know? Now, do you know what? I'm going to be honest with you, right? Because I've been quite vocal about this. Personally, I genuinely do think it's a good signing. I've always said that. I'll say it on the channel. I like Jesus. And I've noticed with the Arsenal fan base, it's a little bit mixed because everyone's fascinated at the moment with stats, right? And obviously, what did he do at, Man City, this, that, the other. The one thing I will say, and I use this term all the time, at Man City, he was always the bridesmaid at the very best, right? For me, my whole thing is, I mean, he looked good in that friendly. I don't take nothing at all, by the way, from friendlies, right? I mean, Liverpool got pumped, 4-0 today by Man United. But we all know Liverpool are going to finish higher than Man U, right? So, let's not take anything from that. Certain Arsenal fans, certain other channels will, but, I'll keep my mouth shut. It's not my channel today. So, but what I will say, Jez, is I like the signing. Kenny's right in what he's saying now. I think a lot of it, and I think Gracie touched on it as well, a lot will depend on what he's got behind him. He did an interview where he said, look, I'm not the main man. We'll win together. We'll work together and this, that, the other. It's a bit of a diplomatic answer. What I wanted to hear was, I am the main man. I've come here for one purpose only, and that is to obviously be the first name on the team sheet and to get the goals. I take that back to Arteta, where we all know players have got egos. The elite level players have all got egos, right? We know that. What I would expect from Arteta is to basically get into this player's mindset and his psyche, and those are two things I mention all the time on my channel, because we all talk about skill and technical flair, ability and all that stuff. For me, nothing beats this. Nothing beats that, right? It's having that winning mindset. And Arteta needs to get into this player's head and say, you were never the number one at Man City. You were never the main man. But you see here, you see at this club, you could be. I've brought you in to be the main man. You've now got that platform. You are the first name on the team sheet. You are the man. You can create a legacy here. The fans will love you. And if I'm a player, Jez, and I've got a manager telling me this after being on the sidelines for so long, I'm now at a club where I'm effectively the main man. I'll tell you something. I'm eating that up all day long, and I think that's what Arteta's got to do. He needs to get into that mindset because he is a good player. And there's no telling what he could do here. But it all starts with this. Get in there, But, yeah, I think it's a good signing. I really do.
Warren,
I still think have a striker, but, yeah.
Sorry, Jez?
Sorry, mate. Sorry. What's your view on Gabriel Jesus?
I'm probably going to be the least positive out of everyone.
No.
I like the player. I think he's a good player. But it does concern me, his goal-scoring record. He's come here to score goals. In a team that's packed full of world-class players, in 41 games last year, he scored 13 goals, and 4 of those were against one team. So if he can only score 13 in a team with world-class players around him, what's going to happen when he comes to us? And that team attacks way more than what we do. And they know how to attack, and they know how to create chances. The lot he's going to be playing with now, we don't attack that much, and we're not very good at it. What we're good at, if anything, is defending. So I think he's a good player, but I'm concerned about his goal-scoring record, I have to say.
Sorry, go on, mate, go on.
No, that's it. I was just trying to say that's it.
Now, this leads me on perfectly into a certain gentleman that we have signed, an American goalkeeper, Matt Turner. Now, what I saw of the highlights of the game against Nuremberg, and I today was in a debate with some fella who left a comment on a previous show, who said to me, fair play, he was the best goalkeeper in the MLS last season. And I said, well, that's great, but the MLS isn't exactly the Premier League, is it? You know, let's get it right. Now, what I saw of him in the highlights, he was bloody useless. And this is a typical guy. And I said to him, well, do you honestly think he can perform? He said, oh, it's only one game. Well, I then said to him, are you an Arteta fan? He said, yeah, this guy's going to take us to great heights. Dear God, where do these people come from? What planet do they bloody live on? What games do they watch? Because they're watching different stuff to me. The guy's pony, man. I'm sorry. Great thing. I mean, I don't know what you saw of this. I don't know if you watched the highlights. I have no idea. If you haven't watched it, fair play. Any views? Gracie's frozen.
No, I'm here. I'm just sitting really still. Too hot. I mean, what's the point? It's just a waste of money. Like, seriously, if we're looking at it, you could, all the crap we've bought, you could pile it, all that money, all that cash together, all the wages together, and you could get probably a seriously good player for all of that money. So why are we going out, and I'm sure we'll get onto these other players, but like, why are we going out and buying really young players as players for the future when you have an academy? Like, I thought that's what it's for, to produce those players for the future that then you're probably going to sell and make a profit on, or some of them might make it through to your own squad. What is the point in going out and buying a goalkeeper when, you know, as far, Leno's not gone yet. He's still there. So whether they're planning to still get rid of him and replace and this and that, what's the point? I mean, this goalkeeper, realistically, how long is he going to be here for before he wants to go on loan? Probably until January, because he won't play. When you really want Matt Turner in goal in the FA Cup, like, wake up, people. Do you know what I mean? These things can't be. It's just stupid. It's just sitting on the bench. It's wasting that money. He's just sitting there and collecting his wages as he goes, and he can say on his football record, "Oh, I played for Arsenal."
Absolutely.
That's it, and then they'll move on. We're just being used as a platform every time. Every time we sign a player on that tier.
Well, I'm just going to say, you know, I totally agree with you, because I just don't understand the point of it. But I'm just going to say, we've got 141 people watching and only 77 likes. Smash the likes up, people. Helps the channel. You know, promotes it, gets it forward, makes it bigger. The bigger we get, the more forward we go. Warren, what's your view on Matt Turner? Hope you're going to be positive this time.
Oh, well, no. Me? Positive? Never. Listen. Right? Does that fella who made that comment about him being the best goalkeeper in the MLS, he don't come from Roswell by any chance, does he?
I think so, mate. The way he played the other night, I think he was actually an 8, surely.
Right. Because this keeper, as far as I can remember, on that stats that I had for him when we did that show the other night that went on about half the night, he's let in more goals last season than he had. Well, in his career, sorry, he let in more goals than he's had appearances. And you were the one that spotted it, Jez. And you said that, well, that's a bit mad. How can that possibly? How can he be possibly decent if that's what's going on? And I have to seriously question whether or not he was the best goalkeeper in the MLS.
Absolutely.
You know, You know, I just find it staggering because if that's the case, then bloody hell, their football must be really exciting. That's all I'm saying. There must be goals flying in all over the shop. So
well, I've got a theory about this fella, but I'll keep it stum right now. Diesel, mate. I'm sure, Diesel, you're going to show some positivity on this one.
Do you know what? Sitting like next to Warren, I must look like the most positive Arsenal fan right now. Do you know what, mate? I'll be honest with you. I'm not really bothered about the goalkeeper thing, right? For me, I'm more interested in the outfield players. However, you know, some of these Arsenal fans who are like raving about Leno, the only club I know of or I've heard of who's interested in him is Fulham, and even then, they're not prepared to pay what we want. So that kind of tells you where Leno is. However, you know, you've got to say Leno's probably a better keeper than this guy. Do you know what? I just want to say, because I feel really strongly about this, and not many other channels mention this, right? But what Gracie said, I thought Gracie was bang on. What we forget here is some of these Arteta lovers, right, rave about him being this top coach. If that is the case, we have an academy of players here. If he's that good a coach, then surely don't spend that, Edu. I can save you money. I've got a guy down there who I can bring up and train. And you know what I mean? Even if players nowadays, all they've got to do is have an half-decent season. You can sell them on and make some decent profit on them, right? So, you know, my argument, even with Arsenal, when we brought back, was it Lehman when he was retired? And even then, and how many years did we go without a recognised right back? And, you know, I'm asking the questions, well, hang on a minute, who's our right back in the under-18s? You know, why is there no players coming through? This man is meant to be a top coach. So these people tell me, right? He's meant to be a top coach. Okay, great. If that's the case, you're telling me he can't get a tune out of what, 2, 3, 4 of these guys we got under the, you know, like below the first team? That kind of says we must have a keeper at this club who is better or the equivalent of this Matt Turner. And if we haven't, that's worrying, and that speaks volumes for me. So simple as that.
Kenny, man, I'm pretty certain I know what you're going to say, but let's get your respect.
But, you know, I think, you know, with like goalkeepers to a certain extent, I think it's really hard for goalkeepers in academies, because I think that now what will happen is that the thing with goalkeepers, they're probably the players who are less injured than any other players, because the simple reason is that they don't get involved in sort of high velocity challenges, you know, foot to foot. They're mostly like sweepers, shot stoppers, and cut McCroppies, and they're probably the biggest guy out there. So they tend, you know, play, you know, every game every season. But in terms of this guy here, the fact is that the reason why I'm surprised and a bit concerned is the fact that Americans do not produce the top goalkeepers they're producing 20 or 30 years ago, like people like Brad Friedel, you know, Mark Anneman, you know, Casey Keller, you know, Howard, Tim Howard, all those sort of goalkeepers. They're not. I don't see those goalkeepers, you know, like I said, coming into a league like they've done before. The same, and you can say the same with, you know, the odd Australian goalkeeper as well, except for Mike Ryan. So to pluck this guy from MLS, where, let's face it, it's not a strong league. It's basically a retirement home. It's basically like a pension for players like, you know, Gareth Bale was a pension for Beckham, was a pension for, you know, Wayne Rooney as well, and all the other players like Frank Lampard and Vieira. The league isn't strong enough. And what Arsenal needs is that it's imperative that your number 2 shouldn't be there just to sort of, you know, be a backup for, you know, like Ramsdale, and probably, you know, help him train. I want someone to push Ramsdale. And that's what I want a number 2. Yeah. I want a number 2 who's on the same level and is unlucky not to be in that first team. And that's the sort of player we should be signing. Because if Ramsdale gets injured, we ain't going to notice the fact that he's not on the side. And if Ramsdale is off form, we think, hang on here, there's this lad here that when he plays, he's just as good as Ramsdale. And, you know, and if he gets a, you know, like I said, a run of games, who knows, he could, you know, deserve the gloves. And that's the sort of player that I don't think Matt Turner is. He may turn out to be that player.
We had that.
He may turn out to be that player. But all I'm saying, why go to the MLS when we know factually that they're not producing the goalkeepers they were before. So if they were producing the goalkeepers they were before, no, then I'll be saying, well, thank God we got Matt Turner because he's going to be pushing Ramsdale for a place inside. He's not, and that's the worrying thing. Because we, as I said before, academy goalkeepers aren't going to get a chance this club. It's 9 out of 10 keepers, in my opinion, they tend to play all the games because they don't their fitness issues. What sort of fitness issues is a keeper going to get? Maybe a broken finger. Apart from that, he's not going to get cruciate ligament damage. He's not going to get ankle damage. Although there could be a situation where it really going to happen. Is say if they're trying to clear the ball and you've got players like Nketiah who put 2 foot trying to score a goal. That's probably may happen, but I haven't seen it happen for a long time. So this goalkeeper, very, very disappointed because he's not what we need. We want something to push Ramsdale.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. I mean, we had it once with Martinez and Leno, and we let that goalkeeper go to Aston Villa. But Diesel Kenny, what is Robbie like in person? What's your opinion, man? I don't know him. I've seen him. I've never met him. I can't give you an opinion.
Kenny? No. Listen. I've met him once. I met him at the funeral. I sat next to him throughout the service. I've got to say, he seemed like a nice bloke. We were chatting away. I told him straight. I said, "Listen, you need to know this. Claude absolutely effing loved you." Because he did. Claude he always used to talk so kindly and highly of Robbie, and I made sure he knew that when we were sitting down, and he sort of said back to me, "Yeah, I loved him too." And I do believe that Robbie felt a lot for Claude. If I'm honest, I don't think that's fake. So yeah, from the one meeting I had with him, I've got to be honest. He seemed like a nice bloke. I've got to be honest. Yeah.
Sorry,
Kenny knows him more than I do.
Kenny, you know him very well.
Day. He's a businessman, and he's running a very, very successful business. And one of the things that he's going to have to sort of marry up, which he's been doing for the last 6 or 7 years since his channel. Sorry, it's been 9 years. It's going to be nearly 10 years. Is trying to find that balance between being a businessman, getting the right people on his channel, the direction of his channel, and I think that's what he's got to do. I don't know him too well. I certainly don't have it. I certainly don't speak to him a lot, but I've seen him at a couple of games, and we haven't really stopped to talk because we're me and him on different spectrums. His channel, and are looming towards back in the club in terms of trust in the process. The people who get in his channel are people who are less controversial to in terms of direction he was going before when Arsene Wenger was there. So as far as I know as a man, I don't know him that well. I really do not know him that well to give an opinion. But has he badmouthed me? Nope. So I've got no, like I said, an opinion on that because again, I don't know him. The people who knew him really well was Claude because as you said, Claude loved him a lot, and people like obviously his people who he's worked closely with, and people he's trusted, and whose careers he's enhanced. So the question you should be asking that question should really be directed at maybe DT, maybe Troops. Expressions is very close to him. And people, DT's at Her Majesty's best hotels, and I'll leave it at that. And people like the female presenters who are on there a long time. So that's the kind of people you want to ask. But as I said before, it's hard to be a businessman and make business decisions when you've got a lot of people vying for the attention and who want that slot. You're going to have to disappoint a few people, and Robbie has to marry that up. But I'd rather him than me.
So, Warren, you've very kindly done some slides. So, if you want to bring them up, we'll have a quick little chat about them, about the new signings.
Quick one for me, Jez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's start at the first one. We got Marquinhos here, right? We can't. Oh, yeah. Here we go. This is Marquinhos. It says he's he's a winger, play on either side. His best season was season just finished. He made 18 appearances, scored 3 goals, and got 1 assist. His career total is he's had 42 appearances, 4 goals, 3 assists. He played for Sao Paulo. Then we got Fabio Vieira. He plays a variety of roles in midfield and as second striker. His best season again was last season. He got 7 goals in 39 starts and 16 assists. His career total is 117 appearances, 23 goals, 24 assists. We got Matt Turner. This is what I was talking about earlier. Look, in his career, he's made 108 appearances and conceded 141 goals and had 24 clean sheets. And his best season was season before last, because in America they do it like a calendar year, and he had 26 appearances, 27 goals and 7 clean sheets, and he's 30 years old and looks like he's only played in the MLS. And then Gabriel Jesus, 25-year-old. He can play on either wing or centre forward. His best season was 2019-20. He made 53 appearances, scored 23 goals, 14 assists. And then last season, he got 13 goals from 41 starts and 12 assists. And throughout his career, he's made 265 appearances, scored 124 goals and got 51 assists. So there you go.
Anybody got any views on these guys?
Do you know what? I've got to say this, right? Let's just be real here, because I'm getting really wound up with this, right? I cannot believe we're Arsenal fans, right? We follow the Arsenal, big club. And we're talking about Marquinhos and Fabio. We're talking about players we've never heard of.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't, it's such an underwhelming window. And I know I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans rating this already an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know where you guys are. I think this is disgusting, especially when you consider how the last season ended. Like, honestly, in my head, I know I'm stupid for saying this, but I would have thought certain plans would have changed due to how we ended that season, last season. Surely, as some sort of statement of intent to ensure that does not happen ever again under this man's tutelage. And we're sitting here, we're talking about Marquinhos, will he, won't he, 5 years' time, whatever. Matt Turner, you couldn't get a decent keeper from the Championship. You had to go all the way to America. Fabio Vieira, never heard of him. Will he come good? Is he ready now to come in now? Probably not. I'm sorry, Gabriel Jesus aside, it has been absolute disgusting. I'm sorry, that's just my view on it.
100% Diesel.
Yeah.
Kenny, what's your view, my friend? What's your view on this?
Well, the situation in this window is that, I think it's going to be the same situation we had last season, where we are going to go into the 11th hour, and unfortunately, and so when we do go in the 11th hour, we will probably played about 4 or 5 games where, if we don't get the results that I think we should be getting, because I don't think we're playing any of the top 6. So, I would like to think that we can win all the games, because Arsenal should win every game, in my opinion. Then you may see a situation where we may we may go on the market and go for those sort of last minute buys, which I don't think we need, which is not good for the club. But in terms of like what Diesel says, it's 100% right. The money's there. Don't let anyone say that since the Cronkies have had full control of the football club that the money has to be spent. Now, we're not saying it's their money. We're not saying it isn't their money. But if facts speak, very loudly. Mick Arteta has had a lot of money to spend since he's been at this football club. A truckload of money. But the problem with what Mick Arteta is doing, he hasn't bought the players that who should get in the team and challenge for places. For instance, all Arsenal fans are very excited about the future. Trust the process, youth project, Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli. Well, if Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli been at any of our rivals, there'll be signings who are potentially better than them to actually push them for that first team spot and actually challenge them for their place, if not better than them. And I think that's what Arsenal need to do. It's very clear where Arsenal failed last season, up front, in the attack and midfield. So we seem to think, oh yeah, we got this player, he's 21, 25, blah blah. Why is it a given that that Saka should never get challenged for his place? Why aren't we signing a player like? Why aren't we going aggressively for Rafinha when we know, in my opinion, he's been a better inverted winger than Saka? We could have moved Saka to the left. Why are we not going for Gnabry? Those are the sort of players I want. I want someone who's better than what we got. Now, I know I'm advocating putting a bit of stress on our marquee players, but let's be honest. Saka hasn't done anything yet in his career. He's been a very good player so far for us. Smith Rowe's been encouraging, and Martinelli's been encouraging. But they finished article? No, they're not. And I'm sorry to say, so when you're a top six club, you have to have in key positions, defence, midfield and attack, the finished article, because you can't compete for the league. You can't compete in the Champions League, and you can't get in the top four on a regular basis if you don't have the finished article, because time makes no one in football. You have to have a situation where, I can't afford to wait for Saka and Smith Rowe to be top class. I can't afford to wait for Martinelli to be top class. I'm so excited about the future. Football's about right now. The future, we don't know what can happen in the future, because let's look at it. Chelsea are trying to spend money like it's going out of water. So there's no change from when Roman's been at the club. Man United are Man United. Liverpool are trying to spend big because they want to stay in that position. And Man City have gone and spent a big load of money as well. So that's what our rivals do. Get the best players available in the position. If they're better than what you got, then tough shit. Sorry my language, but this is big boy football. We're in a big club.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Gracie, what's your views on these new signings?
Well, for starters, I know for a fact it was 2 days after the announcement came for Fabio Vieira, and I was at the club and I was inside doing a tour or whatever. Went into the dressing room. Guess whose name is up there straight away? Fabio Vieira's. We've bought his name. We haven't bought the player. Let's be fair. Get a player with the name Vieira that's a midfielder. He's gonna get all those proper Arteta sexuals very excited. Oh, he's the next Vieira. He's gonna do something special. In reality, his record is rubbish. Is he ready for Arsenal? Is he ready for what we need? Because at the end of the day, we want to win now, and not in 5 to 7 years' time when these players are going to be in their prime. So what's the point? This whole concept of everyone at Arsenal developing at the same time is completely unrealistic, because no players develop at the same time. That's not how it works.
No.
And we're signing all these younger players, but in reality, some of those might not peak until, they're getting towards their 30s. But we're just sitting ducks, waiting and waiting. But I even reading the articles that Arsenal post when they sign someone. They go on Twitter and they write this whole front page on their website. You read it, and it literally says, "This is a player for the future." Brings me back to my point about the academy. That is what it's for, and we're just again. It's another waste of money. Will this guy even play? That Marquinhos, will he even play for the first team? Because I doubt it. What's the point? It's another bench warmer.
This is the whole point. I just don't get it. Warren, mate, what do you think? I mean, it's just to me, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. To me, it's fraudulent behaviour yet again by Edu, Arteta, Vinay. I just don't understand it, man. I really don't.
Well, before I say anything else, David Martin, yes, I have been to the Old Den. I've been there twice, and it's not an experience I'd like to repeat in a hurry, to be quite honest.
You as well. I went there as well. It's let's just say the reputation, right, is actually meets the real life as well. It really is. It really is going back in time there. And let's say when they come to the Highbury as well, their fans are everything they say in the documentaries. There's no exaggeration about what their fans are like.
What I'll say, David, is last week I did my last video was with Darren Sullivan, and we talked about the bad and the ugly days of our experiences at games. And go and watch that, man. And we talk about it in great depth against what happened with the Millwall Bushwhackers and the halfway liners, and we talk about it in great depth, especially one occasion at Highbury, which was I can tell you that was a bad day out. But go watch that, man. And we talk about our experiences as back in time in the bad and the ugly days. Anyway, Warren, crack on, mate.
Yeah. So sorry, Jez, I've confused again. What was the question? Sorry.
What's the slide you put up there about the
focus, Warren, focus.
Exactly.
I'll tell you what it is. He's gone back to his memory of the Bushwhackers at Highbury. He was there.
Yeah, it's fucking horrible.
Day. And it wasn't a good day out. But sorry, mate. We're talking about your slide with the Marquinhos and Vieira, the signings. Are they going to do any good? Are they?
No.
What we need?
In a word, no. Certainly not next season. Who knows what's going to happen in 5 years' time if they're still at the club? Maybe. But who knows? I mean, and Gracie made an excellent point about the academy. Why do we keep wasting all this money on buying these players that aren't ready for now? I thought that's the purpose of having an academy. And it does, for me, raise massive alarm bells about the academy and yet again about the coaching. And I keep going on about it, about the coaching at this club. But if it's because we haven't got players in the academy that we can bring through, that is a massive indictment of the coaching, that we're not able to produce these young players, because that's the whole point of having it. And it is a massive concern because for me, Arteta has spent close on to £300 million since he's been here, maybe even more. And the squad isn't any better than what it was on the day he took control of the club. And I just find that absolutely staggering. How can you possibly spend that amount of money and not improve it?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And it's not like a few pence that he spent. £300 million plus. It's outrageous. It really is. And I'm really, really concerned about it. I really am.
This is a great comment. Daz Tidbury. Lee Judges. My favourite man. Really put it on Edu, didn't he? Get along, gang. That fucking fraud sits on his channel with Dan Potts. I love Dan Potts. slags it all off. He's an absolute classic flip-flop, this guy. Yeah? Slags people off. Then out in Nuremberg, he's practically shagging Edu. It's just disgrace. The man is a shocking disgrace. It's an embarrassment. And then you've got, what AFTV, I'm sorry, and I'll call them out. They are one of the reasons we have this embarrassing young football fan base at Arsenal, because they follow the sheep. They follow these people and they don't want to have their own opinion, because young people, young lads at the age of 14, 15, 13 haven't developed a way of giving their own opinion, or very few have. And to be liked, they don't want to be disliked. They want to be liked. They want to be popular. They don't want to be abused verbally. So they go along with the train. And they go along with these sort of absolute arseholes who are flip-flops, who will lead these guys into the fact that they think they are saying the right things. It's disgusting. It's wrong. And young people, let's be honest, when we were all kids, we all wanted to go along with the show. When you were at school, yeah, you didn't want to be hated. You didn't want to be saying the wrong thing, or the fear of getting back in time, bashed up or whatever. Or nowadays, it's not so much that, it's social media. Because these youngsters put it out on Twitter and all this stuff, and they don't want to get the hate, so they'll follow these people. And it's a shocking indictment of these people that influence youngsters saying one thing, then flip into another thing. It's disgusting. Absolutely shocking.
Jeez, you know what I was going to... Sorry, go on.
Sorry, Diesel. Go on, Diesel.
No, so I just wanted to say, because just touching on the Lee Judges thing, not that I'm cutting him off, but I do think he's a little bit lucky, because he got away with something, and I've noticed no one really talks about this, but he was one of the ones who used to always bang on about and coat off Granit Xhaka. And then I'll never forget, he done a fan cam or whatever, where he was sitting in the he went to a game and he actually had Granit Xhaka sitting next to him, and he said he was actually a nice guy. They were talking a lot about the club and the game, and all of a sudden, never once coated off Granit Xhaka again. And that for me just sort of says it, because we all know Granit Xhaka he's rubbish. He's not good enough for this club. But because you had an hour conversation with him, you've done a complete 360. And what annoys me about that channel, as you just said there, is unfortunately we do have a lot of impression. I guarantee the vast majority of the support on that channel are young kids. I guarantee it, right? They are young kids and they're impressionable. And I go on all the time about losing a generation of Arsenal fans. And I'm not saying they are the main problem, but I genuinely do think they are a problem, because they've sold their soul to the devil. It's all about money now. And a lot of those guys, I'm not even, like some people may think I'm being harsh, but when I'm looking at some of them, and I'm 40 years of age, some of them are older than me. They should know better at their age. And it's disgusting. They've sold out for $1, for $1, dough, wonga, bread, you name it. They've sold out. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely, man.
What's Terry's excuse, Diesel?
What's
Terry's excuse?
Football Capo. Cheers, man. Thank you very much. It's been a while since I've seen you. Arteta wanted Turnip because Pep brought in Stefan. Both were fighting for yes, national team. Where is Stefan now? Jesus is good for Europa. Oh yeah, mate. I think so.
Stefan gets games for Man City because unfortunately Stefan was the goalkeeper in their disastrous semi-final against Liverpool at Wembley. So there again, when it makes my point about the sort of quality keepers we're now getting from the US, that they're not on the level you know, Brad Friedel, how many, you know, he broke records for consecutive appearances in the Premiership. That's the level of goalkeeper that we were getting sent over from the United States. Casey Keller, great career at Millwall, Leicester, play for that lot. You know, Tim Howard, Man United, and Everton. We're not getting those caliber of goalkeepers anymore. So, you know, it's one of those things. But in terms of like, what I think you were going to ask me something. Look, we have to understand now is that we're in terms of social media now. The way for a lot of prominent Arsenal channels, and AFTV are the biggest exponents of that, are all about sponsorship money, all about meeting their sponsors' requirements. They all want to get on Sky Sports News, get on Talk Sport, and have paid written work. You know, the fact is that, you know, one of the things that AFTV have to accept now is that the match-going fans in this country and fans in the UK are not having AFTV. They don't want AFTV representing them. They don't want to see what they were seeing up until about a year ago, that every time you had an Arsenal topic on, who's representing Arsenal? It'd be Lyle. They don't want to see that number. That, you know, they've made it abundantly clear that they didn't, that, you know, the channel does not represent them. If you went to games last season, whenever they sang the songs, personal songs towards Lyle, and also songs towards AFTV, the volume went up. The media went up. Now, maybe people at AFTV says that the media are jealous of him and that everyone's all about social media. If that's the case, why is it? Why have you changed your stance? Why are you more, trying to get your stars onto these platforms, the mainstream? It doesn't make sense. The fact is that AFTV support isn't just from young people; it's for fans from abroad, particularly in and I say it actually, particularly in our cousins, in Africa and and parts of the Far East. That's where their fan base is, and that's they had a tour towards a tour in Nigeria where they got a massive fan base. Most of the people, and I say it with great respect, the people who are our biggest critics are people from that part of the world. And if you look at their subscriptions, they subscribe primarily to Arsenal Fan TV or AFTV, which they call themselves now. So they're caught between two stools. The match-going fans have virtually don't want them around, don't want them representing them. I don't
want them representing me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but match-going fans now, especially when I go to games, I go to loads of away games as well as home games. The home games ain't so much evident because AFTV, whenever they do the interviews, they're still going to get impressionable young kids who want to be around there, might want to get their voice in there, and so they can find the kids and say, "Oh yeah, I was interviewed." Go on YouTube, see my slot, or they just go there so they can say, "Well, did you see me behind the camera waving?" So you're still going to get impressionable kids, and half those kids don't go to the games. They're probably from the neighbouring flats from around the Harvest Estate. Some of them come from like Andover Estate. I know some of these kids, so some of them are around those areas, but primarily at away games, they're not wanted. But
Kenny, it's funny you say that because half of the usual residents on that channel don't go to games. I know that for a fact. They turn up at the end.
100%, and that's factual. Another thing as well, they've gone more towards watch-alongs because that's where they get where they get a lot of sponsorship. It's a 3-hour show. They get a lot of super chats. Whereas it's the money, that's where they're focusing more. Super chats, sponsorships on both the channels that Lyle has. And, so it's very far removed from Arsenal Football Club. It's very far removed from the supporters. But people who don't know our great club, don't know about the history, don't know the history of the fans, because, the Sky Sports and channels from abroad were thinking, well, the AFTV represents all of us. They, Lyle, dare I say it, hogged all the limelight. And he didn't challenge them when they anointed him as the voice of the fans. He never challenged it. And that's factual.
No. So just because Drew Gunners, my granddad refused to take me to the old den. Don't blame him, man. It's never a good day out. And the new den's not much lot better either. Carl Rossi, that was a fascinating stream with Darren. Yeah, it was great fun to talk about the old times, mate. We talked about some scary stuff. But anyway, I want to talk about a certain young man, Saliba. Will he stay? Is he going to stay? Do you honestly, guys, do you think he's going to stay? Or is he going to be farmed out again? And you want to jump in? Gracie, go on. Go for it.
Okay. So, I mean, from what I've heard, he is back. I haven't seen him as of yet, but from everything on social media, I'm gathering that he is back at Arsenal and he does want to play. But I think it's not the question of whether he's actually back. It's like, where is he going to play? You know, like who is Arteta going to take out for Saliba? Will he play him, or will it be another Pepe situation where he's just going to sit on the bench and attract all of that attention? But I hope he does play, because he's a fantastic player, and I feel like he could really add something to the squad. Definitely. Yeah, but from what I've heard, he is back. He is staying, so hopefully we'll see him quite soon.
Yeah. Warren, what's your view, friend?
I'd like him to stay. I really do, because everything I've read about him is very positive, and he seems to be a really quality player. And I, if it was down to me, I'd put him in the team ahead of Ben White and look to sell Ben White or have him as a backup, because I don't think he's good enough for the first team, Ben White. Whether that will happen, I don't know. How will Arteta use him? I've got concerns that he's not going to get much starting time. I think we could be in another Pepe situation with him. Either that, or he might decide to play a back three, like three at the back, two wing backs. But then that's going to compromise the midfield if we do that. So I'm really not sure what's going to happen, but all I do know is that everything I've read about him is very positive, and that he's a quality player. And from what I've read about him, he seems to be better than Ben White, although that's not particularly difficult, I don't think. I don't like Ben White. I don't rate him. I think he's arrogant. I saw a video of him where someone was interviewing him and said to him, "Oh, where do you play? What are you?" And he goes, "I'm a footballer." "Where do you play football?" "I play in London." Didn't one say that he was playing for Arsenal? He seemed a bit embarrassed about saying it. So, no, it's not for me. So, yeah, I hope he gets in the team. And, that's my thoughts about it.
Diesel, what's your view, my friend?
Yeah, listen, I like Saliba. I sort of, I had visions of, him and Gabriel together. And, they're both tall, physical, imposing, quick. And for me, that's your two centre-halves for the next 5-6 years. So he's had a great season. If I'm honest with you, I want him to stay because I think he's better than Ben White. For me, we spunked 50 million when we didn't really have to, because we had a centre-half there ready. Now, when you spend the money that we spent on him, something obviously must have gone on there that we're not privy to. Me personally, I there's a part of me that thinks the bridges have been burnt. If he does come back, which I think, Arteta's openly come out and said he will be back. But then my argument is, well, then why are we looking at Lisandro Martinez then? So you're looking at that. Then you got Ben White, you got Gabriel, then you got, Saliba. That's very unlike Arsenal. So that sort of told me if we're looking at him, then surely that must mean, because he ain't going to sell Ben White. They love Ben White for some reason. So the odd one out surely would be Saliba. If I was him, I'd go. I would go. We all know he played alongside Fofana, and Saliba was the one who was considered to be the better prospect. Now, when you look at Fofana, the season he had, I mean, he looks absolute mustard, doesn't he? Saliba, there's just an issue with him and Arteta. Once again, Arteta, he has a falling out with some of these players. my problem with Arteta is he's got something so special in front of him and he can't see it. And that is my problem. I honestly think Saliba and Gabriel together would be absolutely brilliant. It would be lethal. But I think he'll stay here because I do think there's part of me that thinks if we let him go again or out on loan, I think there would be a bit of a fuss, being made over that. And I think Arsenal probably know that. So if he's here, he'll linger on the bench, Jez, if I'm honest with you. Yeah. But if I was him, I'd say, nah, I want to go. You've messed me around too much.
I think it's wrong. I think it's sad. But I'm just going to... Carl Rossi, once again, top fella. League judges given high seniority as an Arsenal fan is an absolute shambles. Fangirling over one of the worst directors of football. Mr. Flip-Flop all day long. All day long. Shocking. And we've got 208 people watching. Only 133 likes, people. Come on, smash them up. Smash them up. It does help. Gives more traction to the show. Helps the algorithm. And Kenny, come to you, my friend. Saliba.
The thing about, I think there's kind of a curveball now because, there's a rumour that it's not going away. Should have been buried about Juventus wanting Gabriel, and that is a rumour I've been hearing for the last week or so, and it's something that I posted in my story as well. But the only snag is that Gabriel's a left-footed player. But, Arteta, for some reason, they were hearing that Arteta was looking for a left-footed centre-half. So I don't know what's going on there because, it seems to me that, just like Pep wants a right-footed centre-half on the right-hand side and a left-footed centre-half on the left-hand side because they want to play at the back and, create stock attacks from the back. So, again, where Saliba fits into, I don't know, because as far as I know, Saliba is that right-sided centre half. So, for me, he's been at the football club for about a good 3 years. He hasn't been near the first team. It's a situation where Arsenal might want to give him a new contract, but they could give him a new contract for two reasons: one, to keep him at the club, and maybe starting this season, or give him a contract. So, when a club finally, is genuinely serious. Maybe someone who's seen his performances in France and think, right, Juventus might want to come for him. Bayern Munich might want to come in for him. Or, maybe a big club in England might want to come for him. Then we can get our money and we can get a big transfer fee for him. And we can make all that money without even him putting a shirt on. So knowing how this club works, and I've always said that youth project is all about business. Youth project equals get a young player in, give him a few games, sell him out alone, and then sell him at a profit. Saliba, me, smacks of a player that we don't really want or need. He's probably not what our manager wants, but we're going to keep him at the club as long as we can. Give him a new contract, and then if a massive club comes in for him, the profit will come to us because he's our registered player. That's the only thing I can think of, because even if he does get rid of Gabriel, which is a rumour that won't go away, he's not left-footed. He's not a left-footed centre-back. So, again, I don't see how he gets in that side because, we all think that we're all lukewarm about Benjamin. We don't think, we think that he's good with the ball, blah, blah, but Benjamin's playing in that sort of Saliba's position. And as far as I know, Arteta's happy with Benjamin. So, again, don't see how he gets in the side. I really don't.
I don't. I think it's bloody shocking. But David Martin's put a great comment. In my opinion, your club has no ambition. You are the 5th biggest club in the world. I'd say probably 6th myself, but fair play. Don't quote me. You should be winning leagues and the major trophies. I wouldn't even have Arteta at Millwall. What's your views, mate? I don't want Arteta here, let alone at Millwall. We all know my views. I'm one of the most advocate of. If you watch Lee Gunner's channel, you'll know what I say. But yeah, all day long, man, all day long. Now, I've got one more question. I see today Chelsea are looking at Serge Gnabry. Would you take him back, Gracie? Would you take him back, Serge Gnabry? I mean, I don't want to be rude. Do you remember Serge Gnabry as the youngest member here? Do you remember him? I mean,
slightly. Luckily, I've got a good memory, so I do snippets. I do remember quite a lot. But do you know what? It'd probably be an improvement. But the problem I have with it is we take too long, and I know for a fact we won't get him, because at the end of the day, Chelsea or whoever else is looking at him will just throw the money at whoever's got him now. They'll throw the money, say, right, there's the money, we want him, we'll get him. What we will do is we'll try and bargain with that club, try waiver the fee, do all of this, do that, and it'll be too late. So do I think, he could come back and be a good addition? Potentially. I mean, could it get any worse than our squad's current situation? Probably not. So, I mean, any player coming in that is, of a standard and that is known, should be better and should be an improvement. Unfortunately, that's the standard that we're at, is any other player coming in that has a name and has, had a decent career coming to Arsenal, that's going to improve us, because that's because of who we have in charge and who we have in power and the fan base. That's the best we're going to get. That's what you have to settle for. So, potentially, but I think we'll be too slow, and we're not going to get half the players I think we set out to at the beginning, because everyone else wants them at the end of the day, and it's the business that should have been done in January in the first place, and not, slowly getting later and later into the summer window.
Yeah, I'm just going to do another super chat. McDowell's Human Resources Department. Afternoon, everyone. I just got off clock. Glad I could catch the game. Can someone explain why we still have so much dead wood in this team, and we are about 3 weeks out from the start of the season? Absolutely scandalous. Well, mate, I mean, I totally agree with you. I mean, it's a disgrace. It is shocking. But thank you very much for your super chat, mate. Much appreciated. So we have, why are we so poor nowadays? I just don't get it, man. I just don't. It's shocking. But Kenny, Serge Gnabry, you remember him. I personally, I'll give you my opinion. I would take him back all day. I thought he was. I loved the guy when he was here.
No, I think with Serge is that, one of the players you sign is that you always have that kind of like thing at the back of your mind where you think, players coming back to their clubs, it doesn't always work out, because sometimes it's different manager, style of play is different. The pressure is on too much to replicate what you've done previously. The only thing probably Serge has got, in his favour, that he really wasn't given a chance to actually light up the torch paper at this football club, because he was behind the Ox and Theo Walcott. So in that respect, that will help him. But is he a player we need? 100%. Is he better than Martinelli? Damn right he is. And that's not a slag of Martinelli, but I'm talking about someone who can slot in that side. And if you go by his record at Bayern Munich, who are one of the best sides in Europe, and you go by the fact that he's a seasoned international, I repeat, a seasoned international for one of the most successful international sides of all time, alongside Brazil and Italy, all day I'll get him on. I'll get him in. All day I'll get him in, because, my viewpoint hasn't changed. The best players have to be associated with Arsenal Football Club. And, we have to have the finished article at our clubs. And is he the finished article? He's a bit closer to the finished article than Martinelli.
Yeah, absolutely. Warren, what's your view, my friend? Would you take him back?
But my thought about it is, would he come back?
I don't think so.
We got the Arteta factor here, let's not forget. Is he going to want to come and work under a manager that's a megalomaniac and is he's probably in all likelihood going to send his career backwards because he doesn't know how to set up an attack. And if he upsets Arteta, he's going to get frozen out and not get game time. And is he going to get game time under this manager as well? And I can't see it happening because I just do not think that Serge will want to come back. I really don't. So yeah, that's my opinion about it. I don't think he'll want to come back, and yeah, I just don't think he'll want to come back. I'd like to have him, but I don't think he'll come back.
My concern is, and I'll come over to Diesel in a moment, is too many people talk players talk. I don't believe Arteta is a great attraction. That's my personal saying. I think he's an arrogant bastard who upsets players. We've seen it. It's his way or the highway. And no. Diesel, my old mate, before we wrap it up, what's your view in it, my friend? Would you take him?
Do you know what? I've got to be honest. I'm not a fan of getting players back twice. I just think it just never works out for me. However, I think that's more sentiment for me, but I just don't think it works going back twice. However, he is a good player. I agree with Kenny. He's better than what we got. I won't ever put myself in that. I'm not a lover of that. Well, he's better than what we got, so we should have him. That shouldn't be the benchmark, right? But he is a good player. He's a quality player. And on TalkSport the other day, I think his name's Alex Crook. Apparently, he came out and said Chelsea want him. However, he's reluctant to go there because of his Arsenal connections, and he would rather go to the Arsenal. Now, I'm in that mindset, and it's. I'm sorry to say this, and if I upset anyone, but I'm in that zone now where when I hear things like that, I start to question the player. I start to question why would you pick us? And it hurts me to say that, but for me, surely top players, it's all about trophies. Money's secondary. It's all about going to a club where you've got the most chance of getting silverware. For a player to turn down, if this is true, for a player to turn down Chelsea and want to come to us straight away, I'm questioning the player's mindset and his mentality, and unfortunately, that's just where I am. We had it a little bit. We had it a lot under Wenger, and I think what it is, Jez, if I'm honest with you, we just said earlier on about this being a very underwhelming window, and for me, Arsenal just haven't learned. It feels to me like the Kroenkes own the club, and they're just letting these two Cowboys do whatever they want. And I think if we had an owner like a Roman Abramovich, someone who is involved all the time, I guarantee we would not have bought Fabio Vieira and Marquinhos. We'd be getting proper players. There is a part of me thinking Arsenal have attempted or tried to get good players, which brings me back to my point of Arteta. He has no pulling power. That is a reason why I genuinely think we're having to scrape the bottom of the barrel with these players, because the Champions League, this is why that Champions League was so pivotal for us, because at least it gave us a little feather in the cap. Because we haven't got that, and the way we bottled it in that fashion, players would have seen Arsenal last season. They would have seen that. Players all talk to each other. And if Arsenal have tapped up some of these players, the first thing that players doing is ringing up the Arsenal players here. What's he like? What's he like to play under? And I guarantee you now, Mikel, I say it all the time, players are having dinner, Jez. The phone goes, the wife answers it. It's Mikel on the phone. You're not rushing to that phone. No. You will finish your dinner. And if Mikel's lucky, he may get a call back. Exactly. Arsene rings. As much as I coat this man off, Arsene rings, you're rushing to that phone. You're leaving your dinner. You're rushing to that phone. And this is what I'm saying. Arsenal bought players in the past who Arsenal weren't really their top choice. One phone call from Arsene Wenger seals the deal. Arteta doesn't have that. And that is the reason why we'll see no change next season. It'll just be the same old, same old.
Absolutely. Guys, it's been a great chat. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I think the chat has enjoyed it. Looking forward to seeing the comments later on tomorrow, whatever. Thanks for your input. You know, it's you guys that make the shows, and you know, I love coming on your show, Warren, Gracie, Diesel. Kenny, give yourself a shout out. Where can we find you?
Well, I prefer it if everyone went to Instagram, because I have more fun on Instagram, because on Instagram, you know, we have a laugh. You know, I put my stories up. I might talk about Cliff Richard's terrible singing at Wimbledon, but Wimbledon's only once a year, so it's more fun. Twitter, I am on it, but I try to stay away as far away from Twitter as I can, because you know there's too many people vying for attention. You know, the minute you know, it's not a fun place to be at the moment. It wasn't much of fun, you know, when Wenger was there, but it was, you could have a debate, but now they're too judgmental, too woke, you know, too many people trying to get you cancelled, and you know, and once you put a comment on Twitter, as much as you delete it, there's always one guy who's going to Photoshop it and try and make your life a misery. So I limit my activity on that platform.
I have no time for that at all. Just McDowell's Human Resources Department. You know, I love that name. I love that. Wenger could lure players. Arteta runs them away. Absolutely, all day long. Thank you once again, my friend, for your super chat. Much appreciated. I totally agree with you. Guys, the guy's an arsehole. Simple as that. Sorry, Gracie, but, you know, there you go. Warren, mate, where, you know, no, I'm going to say this. People, go and show this man some massive support. This guy, what he does on his channel, I absolutely love. His stats and what he showed tonight, you know, if I was able to do that on my show, I'd love it, because this guy is awesome. Tomorrow night, he's doing a show on Diesels, and I'll be watching that. That is going to be a great show, because not only does Warren do great content about Arsenal and all things like that, he also talks about paranormal stuff and sci-fi and all that, and it's brilliant. I love it. Absolutely love it. Warren, where are we going to find you, my friend?
Right, well, my channel's called Warren's Team Talk. Thank you for your kind words, by the way, Jez, and for having me on your channel tonight. I've absolutely loved it, being on here with all these legends. It's absolutely superb. You're right, I will be doing a stream tomorrow night on Diesel's channel. It's 7 o'clock. It's going to be about the Roswell incident. So please come over and check it out. Because this show, I'm telling you, is going to be wild. I think personally, it's going to be the best one I've done so far on Diesel's channel. We're going to get into it. We're going to look at what happened, what the government said, what other people were saying, and we're going to get into it. And I'm going to try and convince people that it was a big cover-up, because that's what I think. I think the government did crash there. And there's been a massive cover-up. So I'm really looking forward to it, guys. It's going to be brilliant. My channel, I talk about Arsenal. I talk about football in general. The next stream on my video, I'm not on my channel, I'm not sure exactly when it's going to be. But please keep your eyes open, because hopefully there'll be something soon. And you can find me on Instagram and on Twitter. And Jez, just let me know if you want me to talk about the graphics and whatnot, and I'll be happy to sit and do it with you.
Yeah, you're a top man, mate. Top man. And we will. Diesel, legend on his show. Absolutely love your stuff. Love talking to you. Mate, where can we find you, my friend?
Do you know how hard it is, me being mixed race and I'm blushing? Look. Stop it, Jez. You're making me fluster. You're flustering me. Listen, I just want to say, very quickly, Jez, much appreciated for having me on. Really nice to share a stream with yourself, Gracie, Kenny, and Warren. Warren, listen, you don't give yourself enough credit. I say this to you every single week. I love you to bits. Honestly, you are so loyal. I love those morals. Honestly, you have no idea how old school I am. And you are, you're loyal to me. I know you've always got Jez's back and myself and everyone, like our little. I just love stuff like that. I'm used to seeing snakes, so when I come across someone nice, I've really embraced it. Right, your tomorrow when you do this stream, don't promote me, don't mention me. This is your thing. Promote your channel. You need more views and subs. Criminal how you've not got more. That's just my view. All right. I love you, Warren. Honestly, one day you will believe me. Yeah. So do you know what? It's weird being on a stream with people because I'm used to chatting crap for 2 hours on my own. So I had to go on an old stream just to get my details right. So Twitter 888 Diesel, Instagram DIE_SEL888, and I think that's about it. Diesel Arsenal is the channel. But also, look, this is a great channel. So smash the likes. And Jez, I love you, man. I can't say any more than that. I love you. Kenny, you're my guy. Come on. I love you all. Gracie, mwah, big kisses to you, darling. Love you.
And, mate, your channel, I love it. But finale, the lovely Gracie-Mae, glad you're back. Glad you got your computer fixed twice. And, and I know that you're soon coming to the end of your term at school, and you're going to have a great summer. So I'm expecting great things from you, Gracie. I'm sure
no pressure, Grace. No pressure.
I'm sure we're going to do some great shows together.
Definitely.
Collabing as we do. Gracie, promote it. You deserve a lot more subs because you're nearly on 1K. I want to get you to 1K. So put it out there.
No, thank you all. I was reading the comments as I go, and I posted a very important video to me a couple, I don't know, maybe last week now, I think. And the reception on it's been amazing. I read every comment, I reply to every comment, or try to at least. It's just been mad. But you can find me on YouTube, Gracie-Mae. Just that's it. Just my name. All things Arsenal as it is. I'm trying to venture out. We're doing some vlogs, but it's still all to do with football. And I've got quite I suppose, an interesting life to some of you. It's a busy one, so I try to put as much content out as possible. And I am back now officially. It's been a couple of months since I've been back uploading consistently, but all things Arsenal, we got podcasts, debates, watch-alongs, fan cams, you name it, it's probably going to be on there. So just stay tuned for that. And hopefully get to 1K soon.
Well, lady and guys, it's been awesome tonight. I tell you what, I've absolutely loved this tonight. It's been brilliant.
Yeah.
And it's guys like you, Kenny and Warren, Diesel, Gracie, you come on here, you give great content, it helps my channel build, and I want to come on your shows and we have some great chat. A certain gentleman we won't mention, I offered to help go in his, but he basically told me to do one. But there you go. And I'm just going to say this. There is, after this, a thanks option. If anybody wants to drop anything in there, up to you. I'm not asking you to. I'm just saying it is there. Helps build the channel. And it's taken a lot of work to get there. And Warren, Diesel, Gracie knows it's not easy. We put ourselves out there. We put ourselves open to get a smack in the face. I don't mind. I've had a few over the years. But, we love doing it. We hope you enjoy it. And it is fun. And I just want to say, Kenny, thank you very much once again, my friend. You're always so supportive. You're a top fella. People love seeing you. Warren, top geezer. Mate, I want to see you get a lot more support because, mate, you are brilliant. Diesel, big love. Whenever you're on, mate, I'm always watching and I'm always in your chat and I love it. Gracie-Mae, keep doing what you're doing. Keep sending me the videos of the band thing. Love them.
My other secret life that I don't let anyone know about.
That's brilliant.
Let everyone know.
That's great. Love it. Brilliant. Say hello to your mum and we're out of here. People, I'm going to say one thing. Arteta out, you prick.
I'll take her out.